Have you ever wondered what lies beneath your feet? Not just pipes and subway tunnels, but entire cities, lost to time, buried deep within the earth. Today, we're journeying into the shadows to uncover the secrets of ancient underground civilizations. What drove thousands of people to abandon the sun and build their homes in the dark? Were they hiding from a changing climate, brutal invaders, or something else entirely? Our first stop is in modern-day Turkey, in the region of Cappadocia. Imagine a landscape straight out of a fantasy novel, with strange rock formations called fairy chimneys dotting the horizon. But the real magic here is hidden underground. Beneath this surreal surface lies Derinkuyu, an ancient multi-level city that could house up to 20,000 people, along with their livestock and food supplies. This wasn't just a few caves strung together. Derinkuyu is an 18-story deep labyrinth of tunnels and chambers, complete with living quarters, stables, churches, wineries, and even a school. It had a sophisticated ventilation system, with shafts reaching all the way to the surface, ensuring a constant supply of fresh air deep below. The residents were incredibly clever. They carved out wells to provide clean water, separate from the surface supply, which could be easily poisoned by enemies. The most fascinating features are the massive rolling stone doors, some weighing several tons. These could be rolled into place from the inside, sealing off passages and protecting the inhabitants from whatever lurked above. This level of defense tells us one thing for certain. The people of Derinkuyu were terrified of something. So, who built this incredible subterranean metropolis? The exact origins are debated, but many historians believe the Phrygians, an ancient Indo-European people, began carving out the first levels around the 8th to 7th centuries BCE. Over centuries, the city was expanded by various cultures, including early Christians. This brings us to the big question: why? Why go to such extreme lengths? The primary theory is defense. Cappadocia has been a historical crossroads for empires. It was constantly being fought over by armies like the Persians, the Romans, and later, the Arabs. For communities living here, retreating underground wasn't a choice. It was a necessity for survival. When lookouts spotted an approaching army, the entire population could disappear into the earth in minutes, sealing the stone doors behind them. They could survive for months, waiting for the danger to pass. The early Christians, facing persecution from the Ramang Empire and later raids, also used Derinkuyu as a refuge, a place to practice their faith in secret and safety. But some theories venture into more speculative territory. Could it have been more than just human enemies? Ancient texts, including some interpretations of religious scriptures, speak of fiery chariots and wars in the heavens. Could these underground cities have been shelters from some kind of ancient aerial warfare, or even a catastrophic celestial event? While there's no hard evidence, the sheer scale of Derinkuyu makes you wonder. The level of planning and engineering required is astounding. They weren't just digging holes. They were creating a sustainable, long-term world, hidden from the sky. Now, let's travel from Turkey to another part of the world, to the American Southwest. Here, the ancestral Puebloans, also known as the Anasazi, created their own unique cliff dwellings. While not entirely underground, places like Mesa Verde in Colorado are built directly into massive cliffside alcoves, hundreds of feet off the canyon floor. These cities in the cliffs were only accessible by climbing ropes, ladders, or precarious hand and toe holds carved into the rock face. Like Derinkuyu, Mesa Verde was a marvel of engineering. The structures, built from sandstone bricks and mortar, contained hundreds of rooms. They were positioned to take advantage of the sun for warmth in the winter and to be shaded from the harsh summer heat. But again, the most striking feature is their defensive nature. Why build your home in such an inaccessible place? For years, archaeologists believed the primary driver was climate change. A severe, prolonged drought hit the region in the late 13th century. making farming on the mesa tops increasingly difficult. Moving into the cliffs may have provided better access to springs and seeps within the canyon walls. It was a strategy for survival against the elements. However, recent evidence suggests a more violent reason. Archaeological digs have uncovered signs of brutal warfare and even cannibalism in the period just before the move to the cliffs. It seems the ancestral Puebloans may have been turning on each other, or facing threats from outside groups, competing for scarce resources like food and water. The cliff dwellings were fortresses. Their inaccessible location made them almost impossible to attack. From their high vantage point, residents could see enemies approaching from miles away. Living in the cliffs was a desperate measure taken by a people under siege. By the year 1300, these incredible cliff palaces were completely abandoned. The people who built them migrated south and east, joining other Puebloan groups in Arizona and New Mexico. Their departure remains one of the great mysteries of North American archaeology. Was it the final blow of the Great Drought, societal collapse from internal conflict, or a combination of both? We may never know for sure. These are just two examples, but the pattern appears worldwide. From the rock-hewn city of Petra, in Jordan, hidden in a narrow canyon, to ancient tunnels in Malta, the story is the same. Humanity has a long history of going underground when the world above becomes too dangerous. But what if the danger wasn't from other humans or the climate? What if it was something older? Let's look at folklore and mythology. Nearly every ancient culture has stories of an underworld. The Greeks had Hades, the Norse had Svartalfheim, and many Native American tribes have creation stories that involve their ancestors emerging from a world beneath this one. These myths often describe the underworld not just as a land of the dead, but as a real physical place inhabited by strange beings, gods, or even a precursor race to humans. Could these be distorted collective memories of a time when people really did live underground? Or perhaps stories of who they were hiding from? Think about it. We see these incredible engineering feats, Derinkuyu, Mesa Verde, and we attribute them to a fear of known enemies or climate. But the sheer effort, the generational commitment to building these subterranean worlds, feels almost disproportionate. It speaks to a level of fear that is profound and absolute, a fear that would make you give up the sun, the sky, and the open world. Whether it was invading armies, a collapsing climate, or something far stranger that we can only glimpse through myth and legend, these underground cities are a powerful testament to human ingenuity and our unshakable will to survive. They remind us that for much of our history, the world was a terrifying place, and sometimes the only way to live was to disappear. They are silent, stone monuments to a past filled with fear, resilience, and enduring mystery. What other lost worlds are still waiting to be discovered, buried deep beneath our feet? Thanks for joining me on this journey into the depths. If you found this as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the unknown. Let me know in the comments which underground city you'd most want to explore. See you next time.